All right, friends, welcome back into the Golden Tea Lounge. Kevin Lindsay here. It is the holiday season. It is the week of Christmas, and what better way to experience the joy of Christmas than to play this week's classic course of the week, my personal favorite, Moor. Moor, a 2009 Golden Tea Live course. Pretty sure it's been a part of every single classic course of the week because it is so beloved. And it's one of Adam and I's favorites, so that happens sometimes. But as we gear up for the second to final week of the year 2021, Moor, of course, has to be included in the rotation. Moor, probably one of the most scoreable courses in the first couple of years of Golden Tea Live. Not going to be as scoreable now because hole 2... I would say this is like a 60% of the time this is drivable. Very rarely do you see looks in the 400s where you can't get to the green in one. But this happens to be one of them, and that's okay. There's a handful of holes, including number 9, the drivable par 4, and a few others that actually can get a little dicey, can cause, some lower scores than what you're used to or what you want. Honestly, if I hit like a 28, 29, or a 30 on Moor, that's exciting for me. I will take it. Hopefully the rest of the holes are not shut down so we can see what scores we put up there. But we are playing in production, so and it's a new contest, so I think there's only 3 of us in there. So if you're out there, goldentea.com/locations, find a bar near you for play a game for prizes. Get in this game and maybe you'll play against me. Probably do a hell of a lot better than I am, or I will. But we'll see. We'll see how the next 14 holes of Golden Tee go. Look at that, one of the Minnesota guys getting in there. Scammy Davis Jr. I don't know who that is, but I can only imagine. Also, not something Jim Z traditionally does back-to-back, but par 5s back-to-back here on Moor. I always love this one. I'd say there's a 50% chance this gets close to the cup. Let's be honest. Today's not one of those days, of course, but that's okay. And even when you're not tackling some of the tougher but drivable par 4s, even some of the par 3s have multiple tee boxes, multiple pins that make it a little bit more difficult. I don't think I've ever seen hole 6 shut down completely, but it does get pretty damn tough. You might end up with a chip or a very long putt for eagle. But just like the rest of the schedule in previous weeks, Classic Course of the Week going to be the 8th prize play course option in states where it is playable. This might go in. One time on camera. Yay! The struggles today have made that very well worth it. Mundane hole in one, but at least I did it on the stream or on a video. It's been a little while. And this is actually a pretty easy setup. I'm pretty sure Jeff Landon probably aced this himself. But hole 1's hole 1, we'll take it. This goes until the end of Sunday, so the day after Christmas. But you have to be careful because, we have one final week of Classic Course of the Week, so that changes over around 11 o'clock Central on Sunday. So you don't want to play too late into Sunday because there's a chance that you might get in a contest that don't close. And I don't want to hear about you getting your dollar refund back when you placed number 1 in a contest that only filled with 20 people. Just kidding. I love most of you. Hole 8 was another hole that sometimes can be shut down, and you have to hit a big C3 to get out there. I think I'm going to be okay just going right over the crap here. As long as I get out of there, I should be okay. That pin is in a far, far spot, and I am on heavy rough, which is going to make this not ideal. And that's why I was smart, and although I love to put roll or release on, I didn't because I knew I'd most likely end up in the heavy rough anyways. Wow, Jeff Lannon, 54,000 shot points. So he must be doing his usual pin seeking, so we'll do our best to try to catch up to him. Hole 9, as I was saying earlier, this is one of those, if you're in that right-hand side tee box, can sometimes get shut down. This isn't a cake setup by any means, but you can get a 3-wood or a 10.5 degree driver around those trees and bushes. Putt in for a nice little eagle. So 15 after 9 is not bad, but you can also see how if hole 2 wasn't shut down, you'd be on par pace right now, or a better par pace. So 15 under with that hole in 1. Shout out to the very special person whose name will not be mentioned on this stream, but is the only person in Golden Tee Live YouTube history to have aced hole 10 of Bonnie Moor. I wonder who it could be. I'm sure they're a really great person. But yes, nobody else in the world has ever aced this hole. At least it's not been found in footage. So I've also, ever since that happened, have never seen a look even close to drivable. As I see Jeff Landon just keeps racking up great shot points. Hole 11's a fun one. It's not... it's very rarely shut down. This is probably as hard as it may get, unless the pin was in the top left spot with this box. But I've had people before reach out and say, hey, I laid up over here and I'm putting for 300 yards, or whatever the case may be. And even before I worked here and knew the ins and outs, I would never, ever be like, oh, let me lay up over here. Go lay up on the fairway. But I don't know. That's just me. I am going to take a 10.5 degree driver. I'm just going to go right over it. Nothing you really have to be too worried about here. I probably should have put bite and not backspin or nothing, to be honest. But as I always say, as long as you are putting in for eagle, that's all that matters. Hole 12, this par 5. Now, this is an interesting one. This is about as short as I've ever seen this one get. Usually, if you're farther back in this giant box, just tell you to lay up here. You do have to deal with a bit of an elevation change. So, you got to be mindful of that. But honestly, in this instance, and I may be so close that I hit the hill, which is why I'm using a 5-wood there. But just high tee it, and then I'm going to go down here and have a nice soft shot. I am going to be in the rough. It's not going to be heavy rough, but I can just go ahead with my super spin irons and just hit a soft little shot there and have a routine putt in for eagle. Now the next hole, I believe, is the par 3, which can set up pretty tricky. Really just depends on which tee box you got. There's plenty of them here, which is another fun thing that Jim Z has done. This one, not as easy. I was hoping for a pin in the bottom right, or the top right, where I could play into this wind. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to go ahead and use a medium 5 hybrid. I caught the I caught the fringe, but it's going to roll off, so we'll have... You got to be careful, as I was starting to say, of those left 10s, 11s, and 12s on this hole, because they can catch you a little off guard. And they might break a little bit more than you're expecting, which is what I was doing, or what I did. That's all right, though. The only thing I do best is ruin games, especially on live stream, so... That's okay. Now, another interesting hole, a non-drivable par 4, but it has 3 main tee boxes, one here, one all the way on the other side, and then one back over there. In the instance of getting one of the tees like this, I will just go out here to take as much of those bushes out of play. And then just be mindful that you are in the rough. Don't hit the birdies. All right, and then hole 16. This is another one that can really ruin a good game. I've had a look where it was 770, 725. This one's actually tough because you want to nestle it as close to the edge of this fairway as you can. No way you can really... Well, you know what? Actually, we're going to try this. Usually a big A1 will help you out here. You got to be careful. There is some, sand traps down there. This is actually probably the better call. Because now I got a straight look at it. I'm coming out of the rough at 287. But this may actually go in, which if it could, that would be great. Oh, come on. Really? Really? Surprised that didn't roll over despite me. Jeff Landon's still racking up shot points. All right, and then hole 17. This is another one of those par threes with the Mighty Jim Z. Plenty of different tee boxes that'll always give you variety. I don't like cutting the 8-wood as much, so I'm just going to move my 5 hybrid over ever so slightly. Use the power of that 11-mile-an-hour wind. I just want to get it on the green. If it happens to fall in the cup, great. It didn't. You got to be careful with those down putts. Always pull back to the sea. And especially be careful on hole 18 because while we've seen crazy fun aces off of the wall, off of the houses, you got to be careful because if you don't make it in the green and you catch yourself inside of this concreted area, it's out of bounds. And then you get placed back on the tee. So, not a fun place. Not where you want to be. This putt's probably going to be a little bit tricky. But somehow we made it. So, 28 is what I got. 29 is the par. Had that hole in 1 on 7. Number 2 was shut down. So, definitely a wide variety at probably 27 to 31, I think. But goldentee.com/locations to find a 2021 arcade game near you. Make sure you check back in tomorrow as we take a look at the Throwback Thursday daily contest. And we'll see you guys soon.